Hi there guys, Shannon Princess Wrestling here again, and today is my Night of Champions 2012 review. I'm going to cover the pre-show as well because not many people do cover the pre-show. The pre-show for Night of Champions was a battle royale for a #1 contender for the US title match, which took place later on that night. Had people like Lord Tensai, the Primetime Players, Zack Ryder, Santino Marella, and like Brodus Clay, and a lot of other NXT rejects. The final four was down to the Primetime Players, Lord Tensai, and Zack Ryder, and Zack Ryder managed to win. So Zack Ryder is the #1 contender for the US title. Now on to the start of the actual show itself. We started off with a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. It was The Miz, the current champion holder, versus Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, and Sin Cara. Now it was a good back and forth match. I actually quite enjoyed it. Sin Cara and Rey added in the high flying element to it, and the two of them can really go together, which I quite liked. I've rated this 3 out of 5 stars because it was quite a decent match, and Miz retained in a sort of like weird sort of skittish way. Sin Cara put his mask on him and he was blindfolded, but he pinned Cody and gave Cody the skull crushing finale and pinned him thinking he was someone else. Anyhow, Miz retained. The second match we got was the tag team title match. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, the champions, versus Kane and Daniel Bryan. What do I really want to say about this? It was good for the comedy element of watching Kane and Daniel Bryan, and the two of them started fighting, and then they hugged it out, and then they managed to win. The funniest part of this entire match was at the end when they're celebrating and Kane went, I'm the tag team champions, and Daniel Bryan's going, no, I'm the tag team champions. Kane went to do his pyro from the ring, puts his hands up and pulls them down, his pyro, and there was a complete miscue of about 3 seconds. He pulled his hands down, looked around, and then the pyro went. So I had a bit of a giggle at that. I've only rated this match 2 stars because it was mere. The 2 stars is for the comedy element and Kofi and Truth's sort of involvement in Kofi's high flying. I don't like Kane and Daniel Bryan as a tag team. I find them really quite irritating with the backstage skits and stuff, although they are a bit funny. I'm not a big fan. The third match we got was for the US title. Antonio Cesaro was the champion versus Zack Ryder, who won at the pre-show. Basic squash match. Zack Ryder did get a few little bits and bobs, but Cesaro retained. I've only rated this 1 star because to me that is a filler match. They could have saved time, and that could have quite easily been the pre-show match. Although I'm not a fan of title matches on pre-shows, but it was what it was, and it wasn't that great. The only non-title match that we had the entire night was a grudge match between Orton and Ziggler. Really good match. I actually quite enjoyed this match. What I think they should have done with this match was, because the rest of them were title matches, with it being Night of Champions, and Ziggler's got his Money in the Bank contract. I think they should have put the contract on this match, just to make it a bit more interesting. Really, they have a whole night of title matches. I think they maybe should have put the Orton Ziggler match, put the Money in the Bank briefcase up for that. But anyhow, really good match, really highly competitive. The two of them worked really well together. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 3 stars. It's not up there with, like a 4 or 5 star match, but for what it was great. Orton won the match. What more can be said? Now, the next match we got was the Divas title match. At the start of the show, Caitlyn had been attacked. Eve was doing some sort of interview, and she got rushed. One of the aides come and got her to rush her towards where Caitlyn was with the doctor. Apparently, Caitlyn was attacked from behind and didn't see who it was, injured her ankle, and she couldn't compete. And what's his name? Forgotten his name now. Booker T. Sorry. Booker T then put Eve in the match, because Eve had beat Caitlyn previously before, and she was second in the Battle Royale, so she was the next in line for a title shot. So we ended up getting Eve versus Layla, the champion. It was just a standard Divas filler match. Nothing of any great importance apart from Eve won the title. I'm not a big fan of Eve, I never have been, but was there any need for Eve to have the title? Layla was doing fine as it was. There was no need for Eve. Again, 1 star. No, it was what it was, but it wasn't all that. We move on to the World Heavyweight title match. Sheamus, the champion, versus Alberto Del Rio. This was a really good match. False finish after false finish. I rather enjoyed it. Not a big Del Rio fan, and as far as I'm concerned, Ricardo Rodriguez could leave and I wouldn't miss him. But it was a good match for what it was. I've gave it 3 stars because, again, it was a highly competitive, very good match, and Sheamus retained. The Booker T come out before the match started, and just to say that his investigations over whether the brogue kick should be used or not had come to a conclusion, and the brogue kick was allowed. The brogue kick was allowed to be used, and it worked quite well for Sheamus. The last match on the card, the WWE title match, champion CM Punk versus John Cena. Now, at the start of the match, we had Paul Heyman come out and just big up CM Punk as best he could. And the line that he used is, "I'm here to support CM Punk because CM Punk is a Paul Heyman guy." That's what you expect. They've not mentioned whether he's his manager, ring escort, friend. They haven't defined that role yet, but I'm sure they will at some point. Now, this one, again, I've rated this 4 stars because it was a highly competitive match, even though, as most people know, I am not a John Cena fan. I don't think the man can wrestle worth a shit, but for once, they were connecting a lot of things. I mean, Punk, apart from my sort of Hardy obsession, Punk is my next in line, and worship the ground the boy walks on. But it was good for what it was, but it could have been a lot better. Basically, if it wasn't Cena and say it was Randy Orton, then that would have been a better match, for me personally. It had a rather complicated ending. How do I explain it? Punk was sitting up on the turnbuckle, and Cena sort of gave him like it was more like a back body drop, or, well, no, it wasn't a back body drop, but took him from the top of the ropes, slammed down the back of his head. But it was a strange pin. All he did was lift up Punk's arse so that Punk's shoulders were on the mat, and Cena won. But what they didn't tell you, and the referee was trying to get a hold of Cena while he was celebrating, is that when he lifted up Punk's shoulders, and Punk's shoulders were, well, lifted up Punk's arse, sorry, and Punk's shoulders were down for the 3 count, so were Cena's. So the referee then changes his decision, because both of their shoulders were down for the 3 count, and Punk retains. He classes it as a draw, so Punk retains. And Punk's in the corner getting handed the belt and is like a kid at Christmas. And Cena is trying to argue with the ref at this point to find out what happened, and Punk clocked him in the head with the title belt. I know they're making Punk heel, and it's a perfect way to do it. Get Paul Heyman involved. But, yeah. It was a strange ending, but in saying that, it was the right ending. Have Cena think he's won, but then the decision gets changed, so Punk's still champion. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I mean, that's a lot more of a plausible ending than some of the TNA endings. So yeah, at least that's a bit more plausible, and not that there was any sort of shenanigans going on, like people running down into the ring or DQs or that. It was a proper miscue by the referee and was resolved. I rather enjoyed the pay-per-view. Overall, I would give it sort of 3.5 stars out of 5 overall. Mainly because the card, I mean, yeah, to me personally, the only match I was interested in was the CM Punk John Cena match. The rest of the matches just didn't tickle my fancy, to be perfectly honest. And for that reason, that's why it's getting a 3.5 out of 5 rating. But let's hope they improve it for Hell in the Cell. Hopefully, we'll have another Punk John Cena Hell in a Cell, which would be nice. They'll have another match at the Hell in a Cell, sorry. And a Hell in a Cell match, hopefully. That I would like to see, but I can just see the controversy about what's happening with John Cena and Punk. So hopefully we'll find out on Raw tonight what happens. Also, another little note, to replace Jerry Lawler, get well soon, King, but to replace Jerry Lawler, they brought in JBL to replace him. Perfect choice in my eyes. Perfect choice. I love John Bradshaw Layfield. The guy is hilarious, and he comes away with some brilliant little quips. And the fact that his wrestling knowledge is better than Michael Cole's, because he was showing Michael Cole up all night with the title histories. Well, all the title histories, he was kind of showing him up a bit. And I quite like JBL because he's really quite knowledgeable. But if they are going to bring back anyone on a permanent basis until King gets better, please bring back JR. Please bring JR. I know JR and Michael Cole don't go on, but that's not the point. I'm sure the King would, if the King would want anyone to replace him until he gets better, it would be JR. Maybe it's me, just a little attitude error pop, but hopefully King will get better soon. I know he's out of the woods, and, well, not completely out of the woods, but he's talking and he's speaking, and get well soon, Jerry. Please get well soon. We want you back calling Raw and pay-per-views and stuff. Right, guys, well, that's my review over. If you've got anything you'd like to add, your thoughts on any of the matches, do you think that certain people should have won with the title changes correct? Just leave me a little comment in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe up above and like this video. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Bye!